August 17th, 2023 is the day I got my first cat. Her name's Molly, and I love her with my life. She's right there in the back. She means the world to me. Now, we've had family pets before, but I've never had a pet that I can exactly call my own, or at least I've never taken charge. You know, most of the times we've had dogs around the house, but most of the time they've been like outside dogs, and I never took ownership of it. They're mainly like family dogs or whatever. Or like we've had like we used to have like a Yorkie named Kirby, who we'd have running around the house, and like he was cool. He fucked with me, but like he was my sister's pet. Like he slept with my sister. He was like he hung out in my sister's room most of the time. He was never my pet. I had never had a pet up until the moment I got Molly, and I love her a lot. Like I can't explain how much I love her, because like I like to think a lot about how she acted or her personality when she first came to me, when she first like became my pet, when she first came into the house and like started like realizing like, oh, like this is where I'm gonna live, like this is where I'm gonna be. I think about that a lot. Within the first couple of days of me having her, she was already incredibly comfortable, like just jumping on my desk or like jumping on me, hanging out with me. Like she very quickly like felt comfortable in like my area, my work area. Like if I was editing a video, she would be there beside me and she would play around with the mouse. Like she would see the mouse on the computer screen and she would try hitting it. Like she would try playing with it. And like she would purr all the time while she was with me. Like she would rub her face on me. It was the first time that I've ever had a pet that like liked me or whatever. It was such an odd feeling, because my whole life I've never considered myself a cat person, or I've never felt like I never wanted a cat, you know. Like my whole life I was always like I like dogs, because like we've only ever had dogs. We've only ever had outside dogs. We've only ever had like our inside dogs with like Kirby and stuff. But like I've never owned a cat. I've never really even interacted with cats either, because anytime like I would go with like to friends' houses, I was low-key kind of scared of cats, because like I guess my perception of it has always been like cats will attack you if they don't fuck with you. But dogs, even if they don't fuck with you, like they'll still be there. And or most dogs are like real chill. Like my experiences with dogs were always like ooh, they just want like nuzzles. They'll never really bite you or attack you or whatever. Most of the times they're just like little, like just big big dudes just like wanting love. I still believe this at some point. I think cats are more so just like roommates, and they're like if you wake up, they're like, what do you want? Like what do you want today or whatever. Meanwhile, if a dog wakes up and sees you, they're like, oh my god, what are we doing today? Like if a dog is like sees you, or if a dog like sees you and sees like what you're doing, they will follow you. A dog will follow you around no matter what, and they'll be like, oh, what are we doing today? Like their whole life is based on what you are doing. Like if you are the owner of the pet, or if you have like a pet around, like that's how dogs work for some reason, or at least I've seen. Like they don't have much like sentience. They entirely like rely on you for like their fun, or at least that's how like these small dogs that we've had around their life have always been. Like with Kirby, like he would always, like if he saw me coming out of my room, he would run towards me and just follow me around and see like what I was doing. If I was gonna eat, he'd start like whimpering at me for me to give him some food or whatever. Like his entire day revolved around what I was gonna end up doing, until like I like threw him in my sister's room and decided, no, like we're not gonna hang out anymore, and I would just run away. But Molly, or like cats in general, on the other hand, like they'll just be living their life. They don't care what I'm doing usually. Like if I'm at my computer, she'll just be like doing her own thing. At least like as she's grown, you know, I have like about a year with her. Like she'll just be doing her own thing. She's just here in my room. If I wake up, the only time that she'll ever meow at me or want to bother me is if like her food isn't ready, and as long as she has food and water, she won't bother me usually. Like it's pretty rare when she'll come up to me and be like, I want love. I mean, like when she's ever comes up to me and she's like, I want love, she's like, I feel weird. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening to you? But no, she's really lovely. I love her. Another thing is like, I feel like pets, like cats, have completely revolutionized and have completely like they won the pet game. Because the one thing that I hate the most about dogs and pets in general is that they shit and piss a lot. Like don't get me wrong, Molly does too. Cats pee and poop all the time, but they know where to poop and pee. Like, if you just have a box of litter, no matter how old they are, they know, oh, I should shit there. Like, I should pee there. That's where I should pee. Meanwhile, a dog, you give them a pad that they're supposed to pee on. They're like, oh, this looks cool. And then they pee next to it. It's the most disgusting thing ever. Like, it makes the room smell so bad. It's so terrible. Meanwhile, like, if they poop in a litter box, doesn't smell as bad. I just need to clean it. And they also poop in one area. Like, it's like they're pooping in a box. It's like, it's as if they go to the restroom. It's as if they went to the toilet and just like did their business there. It's like, that's the closest thing to it. They're so civilized. I don't need to worry about that. What was I on about? Oh yeah. So like, she was very lovely with me. She was very comfortable with me. She like trusted me very quickly. And I found that very precious from like a pet, like from owner to pet. That's like such a precious relationship, I guess, you know, like, it's very rare that you'll ever find a relationship like that when somebody feels so comfortable and so like safe around you. I think like the very next like level of feeling that relationship is if you ever have a child, if you ever have a son. That's why like I always like to say like Molly, she's my daughter. Like she, like I care about her as much. I want her to live the best life that a cat can possibly live. And then there's the other one. I got him recently. This is Matthew. I got him about a month or two ago. I'll tell you the story. When I was on a Discord call, a really late night Discord call, with my two friends, Seven and Sal. And at one point, Sal brought up that he had a couple of kittens that he just had to get away. Like, he had to give away. He had to get rid of. Because like his like cat had babies, and like he just had a bunch of kittens that he was like taking care of, and that like he wanted to give away. And he brought that up to me, and I just said it was late at night, bro. We were staying up all night playing like a video game, and he told me like he brought it up, and I said like, yo, like, give me it. Yeah, like he sent me a picture of the little dude, and it was Matthew. Like he looked super cute. He looked adorable. He looks even smaller than he does now. And he sent me that pic, and I was like immediately like, you know, give it to me, like, because he's an orange cat. I wanted to see how Molly would do hanging out with another cat. I wanted to give Molly like somewhat of a friend, like having another friend, another cat. I thought that would have been like such a cool like thing to see between the two. I don't know, like I never wanted Molly, or I didn't want Molly to be alone anymore. I've always felt really bad, like on days where like I would have to go out, or days where like I would be busy, I would be working or whatever. I wouldn't be at home, and Molly would just be kind of locked in my room. My mom doesn't like having the cats outside of my room, because they can like start ripping at furniture, scratching and shit, and they can like break. Dude, Matthew, literally the first week that I got him, he broke a plate. He broke a plate in the dining room, because I gave him a little bit of confidence to come walking around in the living room, and he went straight to the kitchen, jumped on the dining table, and dropped the plate, like split in half, and it was a glass plate. It broke. It was terrible. I got so mad at him that day. It was literally the week that we got him. It was terrible. But yeah, I've always felt kind of bad having Molly like in the room by herself. Like anytime that I'd be out, anytime I would go out, like the family wouldn't like care much to check on my room. Like Molly would just be here chilling. She would be fine. Like she'd be sleeping, right? Like she would have food and water, and she would just sleep like on the bed. Like she's super cool. She's super capable. But it's like, I wanted her to still have like, I wanted her to have another cat, like to like shoot the shit with. I don't know. Like I'm weird like that. And so eventually I brought Matthew, and the first month of Matthew being in the house was so crazy. Like Molly did not like Matthew at all. Like Molly was like completely freaked out by the fact that Matthew even existed. So like I got Matthew for my friend. I picked him up like literally the following morning, and I brought him home to Molly, and Molly was just completely gagged by the fact that there was another animal just in the area. Like Molly was so rude. Like Molly's like an adult. Molly's been alive for about like, I think like her age is like a year and like 4 months right now. I'm not too sure. We don't exactly know when she was born. Like we don't have an official birthday for her. When I got her in August, she was about 3-4 months old. So she's about like a year and a couple months, a few months, maybe a year and a half. So she's like an adult. I think she's like in cat years, like 20ish or something. So like she's like an adult. She's like in that in between area. She should know that this baby is not going to harm her anyway, but she would still hiss no matter what. And it bothered me so much because it's like, what is this little dude gonna do to you? Like, this is a little cat. Like, he's not gonna do anything to you. You are big and fat and huge. Like, you can take him on. You could just one swipe, he's dead. Don't swipe at him or don't even get mad at him. But like, she would still like at him, and it bothered me so much. And one thing, she eventually got really sad. Like she got super sad during like the following 2 weeks. She did not fuck with me at all. Like, she did not like me. She did not like. I would go up to her and be like, "My," like I would like meow. Like, I would go up to her and like try to hug her or whatever. She would look away. She wouldn't give me any love. She wouldn't like want to like pat me or whatever. She wouldn't like want to like snuggle up on me. She would just look away. Like, she wouldn't attack me. Like, she's never been like really like a feisty, like violent, exactly cat. Like, she's always been very like chill. I mean, she's threatened it before. I feel like she scratched like my dad at one point. Oh my God, this is another story. So I've gotten Molly spayed, right? But the reason why I had to was because she started getting in heat. And when she started getting in heat, she was just yelling. She was just screaming her little mouth off so loudly. And it was the most annoying thing ever, because I would wake up and it would just be her like in the corner just being like, meow. Like, it wasn't even a normal meow. It was like a moo as a meow. So it was like, meow, or like, meow. And it was so weird. Like, it freaked me out, because I would wake up to that and her just on the floor, like stretching and being like having it like an exorcism or something. It was so crazy. So it bothered me a lot. And eventually me and my dad set up an appointment to get her spayed. And we took her and they did the procedure and everything. And I got really sad when I researched like what the surgery of spaying is. Because what they're meant to do, what the doctors are meant to do, is they're meant to put anesthesia on your cat. They fall asleep, like they knock out cold, and they knock out cold, like they become limb. Their eyes are still open, and like they're just numbed, right? So like, I imagine they did that to Molly, and I immediately thought like, she was probably so afraid. Like, she was probably so scared. She would probably so confused. She probably had no idea what was going on with her. She probably thought like, she probably thought she was going to die. Like, with that happening, and that choked me up so bad, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so fucked up. Like, she was so good. Like, she doesn't know English. She doesn't know I'm trying to get her spayed so that they like take her vagina off or something. I don't know what spaying does. Like, that was happening with her, and that got me really sad, like thinking that like she was probably super confused, had no idea what was going on, had no idea that they were about to like cut her open and do whatever, and then waking up being so confused, feeling like, I assume like a pain or like a sensitivity in your stomach, and just being like really low energy, being confused as to like how you're feeling or whatever, like what's going on in your body or whatever. And like my owner just threw me over here, and I just saw a bunch of lights, and they forced a pill down me. They give me a shot. Like that's got to be so like messed up. is what I immediately thought. So like, she was in a cage, and we were ready to pick her up. Like, they had done the procedure and everything. She had like a little faja on her. She was covered. And we were ready to pick her up, and my dad got off because I think the clinic was like one person per visit. Like, you couldn't go with like a family. You can go with like a party of two or more. So my dad was the only one to get off the car to go pick her up, and he was taking a while. He eventually called me over to enter to try and grab her, because apparently Molly was being uncooperative. So Molly was apparently hissing at my dad and trying to hit my dad, as well as like the nurses. So it was like, she was being feisty. Like, she was kind of badass. She was kind of cool. So he eventually called me over, and I went by, and I went to go grab her, and she was very gentle, and she went towards me. Like, she let me grab her and hug her. She was still very sensitive. Like, I could feel her, like her trembling and everything, but I was very careful. and holding her, and she was letting me hold her. Like, she was hugging onto me. She let me hold her like in my arms after the surgery, and like she was like with me or whatever, and that made me feel really like oh my god, like like this is my cat. Like, she trusts me, like she loves me a ton. Like, she has this love for me and I have this love for her. And like no, like she doesn't share that feeling with anyone else. Like, she doesn't share that feeling with my brother. She doesn't share that feeling with my sister, like mother, father. That's only me. She only trusts me. She only believes that like I can. She only feels comfortable with me carrying her, and doing these things with her. And that made me really like emotional. Like, I love her so much. Like, I don't even know how long. Like, I've had her for about a year, and like she's my daughter. I go up to her, like I treat her like a princess. I love petting her, and she's not really even all that playful. She's like, she likes being treated like a princess. Like I can't really play games with her. Like Matthew, I will, like if I go and like punch him, like he'll start punching back. He'll start like being a freak, trying to bite me and shit. But Molly, like, she likes just being pet, and she just like closes her eyes or stares at me with like dilated eyes, and just like lets me pet her. Like, she likes just sitting down like very highly and just being pet like from her head down to her back, and like she feels very pretty is how I imagine it, and it's very adorable. Genuinely, like I want her to live the best life that a cat can live. Like, this is this is the first time I've ever felt this strongly about like another being, another thing, like another animal, another person. Like, I want her to live the greatest life an animal can ever live. Like, if I ever lose her, or like when eventually that inevitable day will come when like I won't have her in my life anymore, I will be very sad. I will be very torn apart. I genuinely don't know how I'll go, because I've become so used to the idea of coming home and having her beside me while I sleep. I've become so used to the idea of like going to sleep and I have my cat. I have Molly. I have Matthew there. I'm so used and accustomed to the idea of having a pet next to me, having a pet always in my room. Like, if I'm gonna get up from like my computer after editing or after a stream, I can go straight to like my cat, just asleep on my bed, and just like pet them, and they'll just hang out with me, and they'll like lick me or whatever. Like, I've become so accustomed to just having that kind of source of love and energy, and I don't know what I'll do when I eventually don't have that. I know this is very morbid. I don't like thinking about it, and I probably shouldn't think about it. She's so young. Both, like, I have Matthew, who is just a couple months old, and Molly, who's about a year. Both of them are so young. They will, if God so pleases, they will live 10 years. You know, and within the next 10 years is a lot of years. You know, in 10 years I will be 30. I'm barely turning 20. I don't even remember what I did 10 years ago when I was 10. All right. So that's 10 years, hopefully 10 years of Molly. That will be so awesome. And I know I've been talking, look at him. Matthew, stop, get down. He's such a freak, bro. Matthew is the polar opposite of Molly. Molly is very majestic and adorable and cute and beautiful and pretty. You know, Matthew's just a freak of nature and just jumps around at her. Like, he's been sleeping up there. He's been sleeping on top of this computer case box, and he's just been like chilling there. Like, he jumps on this food thing, jumps on there on that desk, and then ends up here on the that thing. And it's like, he's such a freak. He's so energetic. Molly was not this jumpy when she was a baby either. Like, she moved a lot more than she does now. She was not this crazy, and I don't know what it is. Like, I've researched it, and I've seen that like it's not even like an orange cat thing. That orange cat thing is like, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake news. It's fake news. It's not real. It's more of like, I think, a male cat thing, where male personalities are usually more happy and more like crazy. like just male cats in general. And so like since I have a girl cat, I'm so used to her just like not giving a shit about me. I'm so used to her just like living in my life and being like, oh, what's up? Like anytime like I'll try to go and dap her up. Meanwhile, Matthew, he's living his own life. Like he has his own like he has his own like things that he wants to do with his life. He's so crazy. Look at him existing. He's getting food. Yeah, Matthew's always been like a little bit of a freak. If I go up to him, I can start fighting him right now. He'll like punch at me or like try scratching me. But that's very lovely in its own way as well, because I can easily just like pick him up and he'll lick me, or he'll like want to like rub on me. Like he's a big cuddler. Molly isn't that much of a cuddler. Like she likes being pet, but she doesn't like being grabbed while like going to sleep, or she doesn't like hugging too much. She likes rubbing. She doesn't like being. She's not like a big like being held to go to sleep, or being held just to be held. Like in the bed or whatever. Like she'll let me like hold her to like take her around like the house or whatever, but she doesn't like being held to like just to be held. She doesn't like cuddling or whatever. Matthew, on the other hand, he's very big on that. Like he's a baby, he's like a kid, he likes running around and shit. And like he'll hug me, and he'll like lick me or whatever, and he shows love that way. And it's very different compared to Molly. Oh yeah, talking about like how Matthew and Molly like had like they had beef for like a while. I eventually bought like a plug that you could put on the wall. I think it's called Feliway. I could be wrong, but I think it's called Feliway. And it's like a pheromones thing where like it sprays pheromones throughout a month. Like if it was like a Febreze spray shit thing, but it sprays pheromones for cats to be like lovey-dovey, pretty much. Like it pretty much like tricks their brain to love each other. And like I put it on, and like it's not like it made them immediately love each other and start like cuddling and shit and start like loving each other or being like chill with each other. It's just stopped Molly from hissing at him. Molly still didn't like hanging out with him. Molly would still try to like distance herself from him. Like she never gave love to him or like tried playing with him. She just stopped hissing at him, and I guess started just tolerating him more. Because for an entire month prior to that, or she was just like, anytime Matthew would try getting close, because Matthew would try to communicate, because Matthew thought Molly was cool. It was just Molly that didn't think he was cool. Molly would hiss, and Matthew would be like, oh shit. Or sometimes Matthew would like keep pushing it. Like Matthew would see that she was hissing at him, and Matthew would like try hitting her tail or something, and Molly would like either run away or try to hit back, and I'd be like, whoa. It was very crazy that whole time. But eventually I got this Feliway thing, and it worked wonders. Like they stopped fighting, and eventually I don't know exactly the timetable of it was, but they started getting used to each other, and they started being comfortable sleeping on the same bed and like being next to each other, just start like sharing their foods or whatever, or like eating at the same time and stuff. They started getting really close and used to each other, and they actually play like now, like every so often, like Molly will be chasing Matthew, so Matthew will try to run away, and Molly will just make like a quick move, because Molly is like bigger and faster than, not faster maybe, but like bigger and like older, and will make a quick move to just like try to like hit Matthew, and will just like punch him. Or sometimes Matthew will jump on Molly, and they'll both just start wrestling. They like play wrestling a lot, like they're very weird like that. But something that I also saw Molly do recently is Matthew was asleep, and Molly went up to Matthew and just started licking him. And it was like, this just happened in like within the past month or so. It was so cute. Like Molly went up to a sleeping Matthew and just laid down and just started cleaning him and just started licking him. It's like, oh my God, that's so cute. Like Molly's fond of Matthew. That's so hype. Like they don't just tolerate each other. Molly actually kind of likes him, I think. So that's awesome. And things like that make me very happy. Like I hope I'm raising like I hope I'm raising two really great and distinguished cats in my life. I hope I'm raising a great lady in Molly, this princess, amazing, majestic, beautiful Molly little girl, and this freak Matthew, who's going to be a streamer. He's gonna grow up to be a streamer. Matthew gives off that personality. Matthew's gonna grow up. He's gonna be a streamer. He's gonna grow up. He's gonna be a YouTuber. He's gonna be an internet. He's gonna be famous. But no, like if Molly and Matthew were real people, I would like. I cannot explain the amount of love I have for these two animals. Where like I want them like. It sounds so stupid. I want Molly to go to college. I want Molly to pursue her dreams and get college education. And I want Matthew to do whatever whatever his mind and heart sets him to do. I want him to do it. I want him to be able to do it, like live his dreams, and I will financially support them through it all. Like that's the kind of love I hold for them. I love them. I love them a lot. Like I don't know if I make sense with this whole like analogy, like where like I genuinely see them as my children, and I genuinely want them to have like the best life no matter what. And if they love sleeping, getting food and eating food, and every so often playing with each other and running around and being freaks, then I hope they do that happily for the rest of their lives. Like I will not ever want what's wrong for them. I love them so much. And I'm definitely rambling. I feel like this is normal for most pet owners to be like, I love this pet. I want this pet to live a great life. I feel the same way, but I feel like times 1,000 because my brain's weird. That's also just like a me thing. I feel like I just love too much. I feel like I give too much and like receive so little, you know? I love them. It's a very overwhelming feeling for me. And like I could talk about it for hours. I could talk about like I can bring up random stories about Molly and Matthew, like all the time. Matthew's broken more things than Molly in just his couple months of life. Oh my God, I think about this quote a lot, and it makes me cry. It makes me really emotional. It's this quote that while cats may be like, if they live like a full life, they may have been a part of like 10% of your life or like less than it, but you, like your face, you were a part of probably 90% of their life. And that would be the case for Molly. Like Molly lived 4 months, you know, with 4-5ish months, like just like with her mother, like at like my dad's work or whatever. And eventually she came to me. And I've been her life for all of it after that. Like she has been alive for approximately a year and 5 months. I was her life for a year. Like I've been her life for a year and like a month. And if she lives 10 years, I will have been a part of her life for 9 years and a half out of 10 years of her living. And that makes me like, that like makes you think like I am her life. Like that's going to be the same thing with Matthew. Like I am his life. Like the love that he has for me, the love that she has for me is their life. And like, I want to reciprocate that so bad. Like that's something that I genuinely want to reciprocate. That's something that I genuinely want them to feel. Like what I feel, what they make me feel, I want them to feel that tenfold. Like I so badly want to give them everything. I want to give them so much for how they make me feel. Like, I look so wimpy right now, like because like I'm crying over like a pet. I'm crying over like a cat. I'm crying like it's not that big of a deal. Like I just give them food. I just give them food. I give them a place to sleep, food and water, and like that's all I do. It's stupid. He looks so stupid. You look at it. Like, see, like Molly wouldn't do that. Molly would not do this. This guy's a freak. It dapped me up. Yeah, see, like he's chill like that. He's fucking chill like that. I don't know. I love him. He looks so stupid. He's gotten so much bigger since like I originally got him. When I originally got him, it was a little baby. He was like probably this big. Now he's like about this big. He's huge. He's so big. Like he's still tiny. He's still a little boy. He's still got a lot of growing to do. But he's a baby to me. Like look at Molly. Look at Molly in comparison, bro. She's a sausage. She is a sausage. Like right there. She looks like a loaf of bread. She looks like a baguette, genuinely. But yeah, I guess that's the video. I just wanted to talk about my pets and how I feel about them. I guess a year into having them. I have about like 2-3 months with Matthew, and I have like a year and change with Molly. And they've genuinely made like the days that days that I'm having a bad day or days where I don't feel too great. They've made them so much more bearable. They've made them amazing. They made all my days that I've had them a very special day. Like I feel very lucky to be able to go to sleep and just see them like there with me and just be like, I have the presence of someone who loves me very much near me. And that makes me very happy, I guess.